Welcome back to Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, as always, and I run this beautiful disaster we call a podcast. I've been told I run it like I'm Genghis Khan, but I don't see it personally. What can I say? Everything I do is for the people, my fans, or as I like to call them, my troops of immortality. Keep listening, you'll get there. I sing a lovesick lullaby to those who are praying to the wrong God daily, which if you don't realize that the right God is me, just saying. So here I sit with the ghost, waiting until the day I can say, hello, heaven, hello. My co-host, however, let me tell you, he runs with the kings of Ragnarok and many a circle of witches in his years. In his younger days, he wrote an amazing anthem for American teenagers, but not all the parents liked it, so it became his hangman's night the next day. Sorry, buddy. The Varangoy came to pick at his corpse and make sure he was still human and not just a zombie yet. He spends his days now leading the greatest parade until he can finally say, here comes the reign of Armageddon. CJ, the music god, playing everybody.
Hello. I'm much calmer today than last night. So
Hey, like I say, I like to build you up, buddy. But
I did write a song for teenagers when I was younger, and it didn't go over well. So that part was actually kind of true. So
hey, I wasn't even alive yet, I don't think, but I'm here just predicting the past. What can I say? But that's right, folks. Your musers are back once again. No, twice in 1 week. You're lucky. But we missed last week, and this is a makeup. So let me introduce our guests. We are being joined by Samantha Foote, Dr. Samantha Foote, I should say, because she is a doctor and a neurologic music therapist.
I'm not a doctor. Just saying.
I tried. I tried. What can I say? But it's well, I mean, you are more of an honest person than me. I would have ran with that and just took it like, yay, I'm a doctor. But welcome. We're glad to have you here, and I am dying to. I mean, I've looked at your website, so I kind of know what it is. But what is a neurologic music therapist actually do?
So music therapy is just using music to work on non-musical goals with kids. Like I work with kids and adults who are neurodivergent. But there's music therapists in hospitals and hospice, in prisons, in schools, like a lot of different places. So I use music to work on non-musical goals with kids and adults who are neurodivergent. And we just we work a lot on social emotional goals. So if they're not regulating appropriately, like if they have a lot of meltdowns, then we use music to help them regulate their body, or we might use music to help teach motor skills or communication skills or something like that.
Honorable work.
Yeah.
And I mean, when my kids are out of control and throwing rants, I used to put on drowning pools, let the bodies hit the floor and on full blast, and let them go at it.
Yeah.
Fun times, but it's. I mean, I think I said it last night in the show too. Music is therapy. It really is, and a lot of different ways. It could be therapy for a lot of different reasons, and that's. I kind of brought that theme when we get to my album. I kind of brought that theme tonight for myself a little bit. I didn't really tell CJ like, oh, we're doing this or anything like that, so it is what it is. But, we'll see how it works. Because I'm actually dying to get into your album. Because what album did you want to bring in? Why did you want to bring this one? I'm really, really curious on this.
John McLaughlin's Indiana album from 2007 is my favorite album of all time. I played the piano since I was 4. And so the piano music in this album is amazing. And then just his voice and what I took from the songs at that time in my life, just all of it put together. I just love it so much.
Yeah. Well, CJ, you know what? I went first last night, so I'm going to let you go first tonight. What did you think of John McLaughlin's album?
I enjoyed it. It weirdly enough, um, not that I don't like him as a musician. Listening to his songs, I find myself. I can hear this as a Bob Seger song. I can hear this as a Richard Marx song. I can hear this as an Edwin McCain song. Um, like I drew like a lot of comparisons to other people of similar styles and all of that, and um, it it's a good record if you're kind of into that style. And I like certain artists that do this style, so um, yeah, I thought it was a great record, and he's got a very good voice. It's um, I guess the biggest. It's not really even a knock. I guess the biggest um, minus I could come up with him is his voice doesn't have a lot of like highs and lows. Like like he's a very even singer, um, which isn't a bad thing. Richard Marx is, Sting is. So a lot of great singers are, um, and that's like the worst thing I could say about him. Really is, he's just he doesn't have like a lot of high notes or like low notes or tempo changes per se. Um, and I think as a performer, if that's the worst thing somebody can say about you, then you're probably doing really well. Um, musically, lyrically, a lot of the songs are really good content. Um, I have a lot of admiration for what you do. As somebody who's diagnosed as bipolar and with intermittent explosive disorder, um, one of my first careers I explored was music therapy. Um, for those that don't know, a lot of training, very extensive training. Um, and, I kind of figured out pretty early that much like the law enforcement career I looked at, I wasn't nearly patient enough or um, even keeled enough to really be what I considered helpful to somebody. Um, but, you know, it's how I use music as therapy. Is music has always been I make the joke and people think it's a joke kind of and I play it off as a joke, but when I tell people music has what kept me off the FBI's most wanted list, not really a joke. There's a lot of times where I've gone in my room, turned the lights off and listened to music and just, you know, let all that go into the universe, where if I didn't have music, you probably would have saw me on the news somewhere. So music is power. It's very, very powerful in, you know, um, what they're doing. One of the most amazing things to me is how they're using music therapy with Alzheimer's patients. Um, is just I've seen it firsthand. When I worked as a CNA, we used music, as a therapy tool, and so amazing to see somebody be completely non-cognizant and hear a song from the 1940s or the 1950s and immediately come back to being exactly where they were within, the spectrum of it. And it really makes you understand the power that music has mentally to make connections in your brain. So, a lot of respect to you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't talk about the training. A lot of people think you can just like be a music therapist. But you have to. I have a master's degree in music therapy, but you have to get at least a bachelor's degree, and then do practicums during school, and then do like I did a 6-month internship, full-time internship, and then pass a board certification exam, and then keep getting continuing education credits. So
It's like 1,000. It's like 1,000 hours, isn't it, for like the internship or whatever?
Yeah. I think it's like 1,200 hours, so just over 1,000. But yeah. So there, like my friend texted me and she was like, "So I see this 6-week course on to be a music therapist." I was like, "That's a scam. You can't do that." I was like, "Don't fall for it. You will not be a music therapist after that." So but yeah. So that's the training, if anyone was wondering.
Yeah, and that's why I dropped out of college when I was going to become a teacher. I mean, just that alone is ridiculous, but that sounds even worse, honestly. And
Yeah.
I love music, but that sounds painful. But CJ, you just kind of proved my point for my album tonight a little more. So I can't wait to get to my album later. But yeah, John McLaughlin. I never really heard his name. I didn't know who he was when you gave me a choice. You said John McLaughlin or Benson Boone. I knew Benson Boone was country, so I was like, we're going John McLaughlin.
Really good though.
And I'm like Benson Boone's country. I'm going John McLaughlin because I never heard of John McLaughlin, and anytime I can get an album on this show I haven't heard of, it's always a plus because I'd rather hear something where I have no idea what to expect than hear something where I have predetermined expectations.
Yeah.
But I will say I listened to this album fully last week. Listened to it again fully this morning because I forgot a lot of it in the week since we were supposed to record. So I was like, all right. And last week I didn't really. If we did this episode last week, my opinion would have been 100% different. I didn't like it last week. I don't know if I was just in a different mood, if I was just in a different mindset, or what was going on, but it didn't hit me last week. A couple songs did, but not most of it. This week, today, it really actually I'm sitting there I'm like, okay, I'm hearing these songs a lot different this second time around. I'm hearing these songs in a way I didn't hear them the first time, and I actually can kind of. I mean, this is not my musical style at all. But I don't even listen to any bands that really like this. I mean, I can't. Dave Matthews Band may be the closest thing I can compare this to that I listen to, but and that's even a stretch. But I actually enjoyed this to some degree. I did know one of the songs. I found out beforehand. I recognized it the first time I heard it last week, and I was like, oh, "Okay, that's who sings this song." I never do that, but it's overall it was good music. His voice is really good, and this is one of his first albums too, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm kind of like curious to hear where he goes, what he became, because this was a really good album, freaking Centralite. But yeah, I mean, would I ever go? Am I ever going to go and explore the rest of his music as much as I'd like to? I don't know if I would. If I run out of other artists to listen to that I want to check out first, then maybe. But I mean, it was a really good album. I got top 5 and I got honorable mentions, and I actually added a couple in today because I was like, okay, this song actually stuck out to me today. So I don't think I had honorable mentions last week. So it's definitely different from what I'm used to. But I want to say if Glee was on when this came out, they would definitely have done some of these songs on Glee. I have no doubt about that. But I mean, I was a huge Glee, so I could see that. But yeah, overall, I mean, if I had to rate this album, it would easily be a 3.9 out of 5 stars, if I'm being honest. I mean, it was good. It was a good album, and his piano work is the saving grace for this album any day of the week. It's freaking beautiful. He is such a good pianist. So I truly appreciate that. Being an Elton John fan, I appreciate anyone who's good on piano. So he is right up there. Actually, I wouldn't mind hearing him and Elton do a duet on some song. I never thought of that till just this moment, but I could see that, and it would actually be really cool. But I'm dying to hear, what are your top 5 songs off your own album? This is always the fun part.
Well, I wrote them down, and then I realized I was like, no, I like that one, but I like that one, but I like that one. So
The
So
everlasting dilemma.
yeah. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I wrote down 6, but I will give you the top 5.
Oh,
So
you're allowed honorable mentions. Just saying.
okay. So Beautiful Disaster, Just Give It Time, Human, Anthem for American Teenagers, Amelia's Missing, and Praying to the Wrong God were my favorites off the album.
Yeah. All right. Definitely. We got some matches. Some.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into Amelia's Missing. I just couldn't get into that. I tried. I'm like, some of his songs I just couldn't get into. Really, it was just.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? You can't like everything in this world. But DJ, what are your top 5 for Mr. McLaughlin?
Number 5, I had Praying to the Wrong God. Number 4, I had Already In. For some reason, that reminded me of We've Got Tonight by Bob Seger. The piano intro, just, I kept hearing We've Got Tonight in my head. Number 3 was Indiana. Number 2 was Beautiful Disaster. But for me, the song that really connected lyrically and musically was a song Human. Kind of made me cry a little bit. Every once in a while I hear a song and, it's just kind of hard to you keep everything in sort of this tight little ball, and every once in a while something will come along. And I have certain songs that I can't listen to. I Love You This Much by Jimmy Wayne, Skinned by 6 a.m., Leader of the Band by Dan Fogelberg are 3 songs that will make me just bawl hysterically every single time. This was kind of one of those songs that just, probably not every time, but just whatever I was going through at the time I heard it, I just sort of cried and was just like, it's a really beautiful song. So that one was kind of like way ahead of the other 4. But the other 4 were really good as far as songs, but that was my top 5.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I added 2 on today, and actually, okay. I will say, I love that you said "Skin" by 6 a.m. I freaking love that song. That's such an amazing song. I can't say it brings me. Doesn't bring me to tears, but it's a really touching song.
It does for me because obviously, my daughter was born with trisomy 13, which, cleft lip, the top of the mouth doesn't heal properly, extra fingers or toes. There's a lot of physical abnormalities as well as like the heart defect and the brain defect that is what kills the child. So when I hear that song, when they sing "You Are Not Your Skin," it's really powerful to have a child who died, who had the cleft lip, the extra fingers, the extra toes, all of the physical defects that she had as a parent. That's one of the, I don't want to say soothing, but it's one of the things you can tell yourself about your child is they're more than what the physical deformities are. You are not your skin. You're the spirit of that. And, as someone who doesn't like Nikki Sixx as a human being, it's a really powerful song. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say that without crying. So I'm going to shut up now because I'm going to start crying.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that about you for a hot second.
It's okay.
But yeah, my honorable mentions I had today were "For You," "From Me," and "Human." Both those songs really hit me today, and I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I was pretty tired today, so maybe I was just in that right state where they hit me hard. But My number 5 was "Praying to the Wrong God." That's a really good song. I really enjoyed the heck out of that song. Number 4 is "Until You Got Love" because as a married man, that song makes a lot of sense to me. It took me a long time to find the woman that would become my wife, and that song really hit home. Number 3 was "Beautiful Disaster." That's the song I knew. I knew that song. I remember hearing it in random places, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this guy sings this song." I never knew that. My number 2 was "People." "People" was really a beautiful song, and my number 1 had to be "Anthem for American Teenagers." It's the heaviest song on the album, and it was a really well written song. The lyrics are amazing, and his piano in it is phenomenal, like phenomenal. But so I mean, that's like I said, it was it kind of I'm happy I got introduced to him. If someone else brings another album of his on the show, then I won't be as disappointed as I would if I didn't like him at least. So which trust me, that's happened before in this show. But this one I was pleasantly surprised with. So, but CJ, what album did you want to bring?
I brought the new Youngblood record, Idols, because I freaking love this kid, man. When he first come out, I wanted to hate him so badly. He was young and cocky and brash and good looking. And I heard his music and I was like, damn, his songs are just good, and he's so charismatic. And before the divorce, my stepdaughter, she was a fan. She wanted to see him, so I took her for her first concert. And he got on stage, and for 2.5 hours was like a human pinball machine. Stood in the middle of the crowd, monkey barred across the lighting rig, up and down, back and forth. Put on the best live show I've seen in a decade. And since then has gone on to, do all of this stuff, including, everybody's on the bandwagon now because he performed at the Ozzy Black Sabbath thing and he did changes. And everybody's like, who the hell is Youngblood? And, us Youngblood fans that have been there since day one are saying, been telling you for 5 years the kid is incredible. And this new record is, I don't even have good words for it. The songs hit so hard, emotionally on so many levels. So yeah, Youngblood, Idols.
And you forgot to mention that he's engaged to Ozzy's daughter now, but
No, he's not. He's friends with Kelly. Kelly just got engaged to Sid from Slipknot.
that's not okay. I was fed wrong information last week. Then, damn it.
Ozzy semi-officially adopted him as a son. Basically, Ozzy said, "I'm handing the torch to you." Essentially, like, in an era where new rock stars are not being made, not in the sense of what the old rock stars were, the Mick Jaggers, the David Bowies, the Freddie Mercurys. There are no true rock stars in that sense. And Youngblood is a rock star in that sense. He's bigger than life, charismatic. He engages with his fans on a level that is so personal. About being inclusive, about being a family, touching on mental health, touching on sexual abuse, touching on mental illness, and so many personal things that a lot of new stars are just simply too scared to touch on,
Yeah.
And like I said, I love the hell out of the kid. I wanted to dislike him, but I just can't, man. There's just everything about the kid is, he's so adorable. He's so, you know, I mean, he's like this giant ball of energy, you know, constantly smiling, having just a good time. You know, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, all I can say is watch his videos. And if you're not impressed by this kid, then I don't think you have a heart or a soul. I mean, he's so impressive on so many levels.
Way to put it out there. Way to put it out there, buddy. Oh, God. Well, Samantha, what do you think of Youngblood?
So I know of him. I've known of him, but I never really listened to his music unless I randomly heard it from someone else playing it. I love the album. It was awesome. Like I liked the music and like his singing and then other things coming in. Like I don't know, like one of the songs it was like really raw but hard hitting and you could hear it in his voice and it was just very expressive in his voice, I remember. And so yeah, I loved it. I was surprised because I didn't think I would, just from what people have said about him. I didn't think that I would like his music. And so I've never really sought it out before, but it was awesome. I'll listen to it more for sure. But it takes me a few times to listen to an album before I really, really get to love it. And so I want to listen to this album more. I've just been like, well, I didn't have cell service for 4 days the last 2 weeks. So, I couldn't listen to the songs because I was just out doing things that I couldn't. But I want to listen to it more for sure.
Yeah. Well, this was another case of I listened to this album last week for the first time, and I honestly hated it the first time I heard it. I hated it. I was like, what the crap did you bring me, CJ? This is not CJ. Like, oh my God. I'm like,
100% CJ.
I wanted to, I wanted to hate to begin with just by seeing the album cover, and I was like, oh God. I'm like, who is this David Bowie wannabe posing shirtless on his freaking album cover? But, there was a couple songs the first time that I did like, and then I actually only had 4 songs after last week's listening. I only had 4 songs I put on my list, but I'm like, I can't do any more than this. But I did re-listen to it today as well, and same thing as John McLaughlin CD. Like, there was just something. I was just in the right zone today for it, and I just started digging it a little more. Not all of it. There's still songs I just can't listen to of his. And the fact that Ozzy handed him the freaking torch kind of makes me sad for music, but in a way, because he's no freaking Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne, there's no one out. He should have handed it to freaking Lord of the Lost before he handed it to this guy. But in my opinion, at least. But because this isn't Ozzy style at all. But Youngblood, I'm interested to see what else he can do. I want to hear him do some collabs with some metal pros who have been around for a while and see how he does. Let him do something with Falling in Reverse. Let him do something with Marilyn Manson. Let him do something like that, because he has the image to be with all these darker stars, and I want to see him.
So did you see the Sabbath Ozzy show thing?
Not at all. I've seen little clips of it, but I haven't actually watched the whole thing.
So he performed Changes by Black Sabbath, and he had Nuno Bettencourt on guitar. He had Frank Bello on bass from Anthrax. He had 2 from Sleep Token playing drums.
Yep.
And at the end of the song, when the band stopped, he walked out to the front of the stage, and he basically sort of redid the Freddie Mercury at Wembley thing with the call and response with the crowd. And Nuno Bettencourt has been around for years with Extreme. Nuno said it gave him goosebumps because he said it was the most insane thing he's ever experienced as a musician. So, everybody who didn't know who Youngblood was beforehand, Nuno, Scott Ian, the Sleep Token guys, Tommy Araya of Slayer, all of these guys are talking about Youngblood now because, they didn't know who he was or they had never seen him perform beforehand. And after seeing him perform, they're all pretty much of the opinion of this kid was built for the stage. I mean, he's a freaking rock star. So,
that's why I want to see him I want to see him do duets where there's another voice like to complement his. That's what I want to hear.
He's done that. He just did a duet with Billy Idol. He also there's another song. I can't think of who he did it with, but there's another song he recorded recently too for the next record with I can't think of who it is, but it's one of the metal guys. So you're gonna see a lot of different things from him.
I'll have to see. I'll have to go back to his discography and see what he's. I'll have to follow him so I can see what he has coming out. But maybe he'll get there. Maybe, I don't know. Well, but yeah. Overall, I liked him to some degree today. I'm not gonna say he's like the best thing I've ever heard in my life. No freaking way. But he's.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I mean he's got.
He's the greatest thing of all time. I'm just saying.
I mean, my number one song, my number one on my list, I will say, it reminds me of some other songs, but it shows talent, and I'm like, okay, this is promising. This could lead to great things someday. But we'll see what he does. He's got a lot of time left in his career, hopefully. So we'll see what he does. But what were your top 5 in your album, CJ?
So number 5, I have Greatest Parade. Number 4 is Zombie. If you want to have a near mental breakdown, watch the video. It's dedicated to doctors, nurses, people who work in hospitals, trauma centers, stuff like that. Basically, he loses his girlfriend to an accident, and he's having this meltdown, and all of these nurses who are trying to save his girlfriend are also trying to save him at the same time. So it's his basically it's his dedication to all of the people who work in trauma situations. And the video is it's heavy. I mean, it's dark and heavy, but it shows the weight of what those people do, to save lives and to keep people sort of off the edge, per se. Number 3 for me is Hello Heaven, Hello. I love the fact this kid wrote a 9.5-minute song. Again, it's just not something you see in today's music. You see the prog guys do it, but you don't see pop or rock performers write a Bohemian Rhapsody style song that has tempo changes and, number 2 is Lovesick Lullaby. That song is so freaking catchy. The way he sings that song and the video is hilarious. And it's just him clowning with his fans and people, his family, and he's having entirely too much fun. And the way he sings, woke up this morning. My favorite, though, I didn't say my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Ghosts and Idols Part 2. Ghosts is a really deep song, and it's actually about him being sexually abused by his doctor, while his mother was in the room. Apparently, it happened. They had a big screen up, and his mother didn't know. Number 1, though, for me is Monday Murder. It reminds me of a Cure song, and I love the Cure. So it has that sort of disintegration era Cure style to it. And it's, again, another disgustingly catchy song that You know, it's you can't help but kind of listen to it and just be like, it's a damn good song. So that's my list.
Well, Samantha, how about you? Did you have a top 5 for Youngblood?
Yeah, I for some reason only wrote down 4, so you get a top 4. I don't know.
That works.
I
That
listened
works.
to it, but I was like, what? What happened? But I really liked Idols Part 1, the strings at the beginning. I really liked that. And then Zombie, I really liked the chorus on it and the echo and change. So change is a song. And then Monday Murder was just more upbeat, and I really like that one.
Yeah. Don't feel bad. I only had a top 4 last week. This week though, I did an honorable mention. The song "War" grew on me this week a lot. That song really grew on me, and I did add,
Yeah.
and I actually added a song into my number 2 spot that wasn't there last week. So I'll get to that in a minute. But my number 5 was "Grace Parade." I like that. The first time I heard that song, I really liked it. It's a really good song. The lyrics remind me of Nightwish lyrics almost in a way. But I mean, the musical style is completely different, obviously. But it reminds me of Nightwish lyrics in a way. My number 4 was "Hello Heaven Hello," which I wanted to like that song. I really did. Like I put it on my list initially just because I was like, this song has potential. And then like the first time I heard it, I was like, this song's too freaking long. I'm like, who does he think he is? Like, who do you think he is? Like, Avantasia or Nightwish doing the song this long? But it's, and when I heard it again today, I was just like, I still can't get into this song. I just still can't. I mean, it's still the number 4 because it has potential. I just can't get into it yet. I don't know why. My number 3 was "Ghost." That song is freaking phenomenal. Redone. It's a beautiful song, and the way you describe the video makes so much more sense. So
The video actually is for Zombies.
well, yeah. I actually, as soon as I said that, I was like, wait a minute, that didn't line up. But and actually, that's my number 2. That's what I added in today. That somehow I must have had a phone call come in or something last week. I listened to it because I must have like missed it. But "Zombie" is a really good song, almost reminiscent of like the Cranberries' "Zombie" in a way, but not like similar.
And that was my worst fear when this was released. I hate the Cranberries song, and I was like, God, please tell me he did not fricking cover that horrible, terrible song.
How do you not like that song?
Just there's something about her voice that
I love her voice. It's so unique.
It's weird though. Sometimes just hearing it from a different perspective, because like the song "What's Up" by 4 Non Blondes, I don't like their version of it. But Justin Furstenfeld of Blue October, about 3 days ago, released this video of him sitting in front of a microphone with this very sparse acoustic guitar, singing it in this very low tone, this very emotional tone. And I'm like, only you could perform a song that I absolutely detest and make it just a gorgeous sounding song, you know. And again, it's Linda's voice on that song that I don't. It's not the song. The song is kind of catchy. You know, wake in the morning. But the way Justin sings it is just so different that it makes it, instead of being this sort of preppy song like the original, it makes it this very
melancholy
I don't want
song.
to say art. Yeah, but it makes it like this really almost like a pleading type song, you know. And it's amazing. So yeah.
Well, my number 1 though has to be "Lovesick Lullaby." I love that song. I love that song the first time I heard it. That song is amazing. It kind of reminds me of "Sick Love Song" by Motley Crue in a way. Like it has the same theme and it's got like the same energy in it, but it's completely its own song as well. And I love it. It's such a good song.
The video is hilarious.
I'll have to watch it. I didn't watch any of his videos. I try not to let videos persuade me too much. I mean, videos with Lord of the Lost, like I still lost in his videos. I'm still like watching them over and over again because I can't get over them. They're how amazing they are. So I try not
In
to
the
watch
beginning of the
videos.
video, they recreate the old Maxell ad where the guy's sitting in
Oh,
front of the speakers with his thing, during the 70s. So he's sitting in his chair kind of like this, and the wind's like blowing him backwards, and he's just doing this, and his beer is sitting on the table, and the beer goes sliding back. And he looks over at the thing and he's like, and he makes a stupid, cheesy smile. He's just, like I said, he's having entirely too much fun in that video. And I'm like, okay, it shouldn't be allowed to have like that much fun. I mean, it just, you can tell like he was just having the time of his life with that video, with all his fans and his family. And, he has a little dog that he's holding that's about this big, and he's petting the dog while he's, there's one part they're driving down the road and he's standing in the sunroof of the thing, and he's like singing, and it's just a great video. It's, yeah, I love dude. So, what he stands for, everything. So,
well, I guess that means, folks, that it's time to get down to the last album of the night. And that's the album I chose to bring for this episode. And, well, the reason I wanted to bring it was simple enough. It was literally because it released like a couple days before we were supposed to do this episode last week. So it was literally just, I said to myself months ago, as soon as this album drops, after hearing the singles, I'm bringing this album on the damn show. Like, I have to. I got into this band not long ago and heard their first 4 albums, and I was blown away. After hearing them do a Powerwolf cover, I was wanted to hear more. And of course, they're one of those bands I just freaking and digging so much and being right into that's such my style. Their videos are amazing, and like it draws me right
I've
in.
got notes.
I'm sure you do. And you and CJ actually messaged me saying like, I know who the singer is even though he wears a mask, and so you made me look it up, and I'm like, oh, he was in a band previous to this. I have to go check out that band in the future at some point. But I decided to bring War King's Armageddon album, which it literally dropped on July 4th, as amazing as that is for a release date. And it's fitting. So I wanted to bring it as soon as it released. The singles blew me away. They're all in my top 5. So it was a phenomenal album to me. And I knew it was Samantha's episode 2 around that time because we planned things out months in advance in this show. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this band kind of is therapy to me in a way. Because if I'm having a really bad day or I'm just in a really shitty mood, this band pumps me up and makes me like just get back into the right mindset. It just really is good for that. They're one of those bands that it's uplifting. It's war music. It's like go to war music. Like if the ancient Greeks, whatever, actually played music like this back then, they might have won more wars than they did. So, it lifts you up. So I mean that's kind of my connection to the episode as is, because this is my type of therapy music. I need uplifting stuff like this in my life to keep me happy and kiltered, because you don't want me off kilter. Like CJ said, there's music's kept me out of a few bad situations in my life. So yeah, it's definitely, I agree with what CJ said completely. Music can put you right back in your right mind if you let it. You have to let it though. You can't fight it. But down here, Samantha, what did you think of War King? So I'm like, I know this isn't going to be her style by any means in the world, but I'm like, I gotta bring it and just hope she likes it to some degree.
Yeah, this music completely overstimulates me, this type of music. I can't listen to it very much because it overstimulates me. That's like, I just feel like very on edge when I listen to it. And so I liked it, but I couldn't listen to it very long, or else I would just like, you go into like fight or flight mode almost. So it had the opposite effect on me that it does on you, which is really interesting. That just in music, people are like, oh, what's relaxing music? What's angry music? Because there's this thing called the ISO principle, where you take someone in one state and put them in another, and you use music to do that. And so if they're angry, you play angry music, and then you slowly move to like calm music, And everyone's always like, well, what music do I use? And I'm like, that is entirely up to you. And I think it's so cool that different music can affect people in completely different ways. And so if you played this music for me, it would send me over the edge. And if I was already in that, like heightened state, it would just send me over the edge. But for you, it like puts you back, like in self-regulation mode where you need to be. And I just think that's really cool. But yeah, I liked it as long as I didn't listen to it too long. And then I'm like,
See, it's got to do with the difference in, I don't want to say mentality because that's not even the right word. The difference in, I guess, emotional states, like, or emotional mindset, I guess, because wherever that person's medium is in their brain, that that must be what really affects it. Because I, people have said in the past before, like, why do you listen to certain music? Like, if they walk past my office, my old jobs, they'd be like, why you? I'd be listening to like Slipknot or something. And they're like, why are you listening to this music and you look happy? I'm like, because it centers me. It makes me happy. Like, what do you expect? Me to sit here like breaking things while listening to it? No, it brings me peace. It brings me serenity. Like, because I think it's because someone else. My personal opinion on it has always been that it's somebody else. Somebody else is letting their anger out. So it kind of like it reflects through the music into you, and you just like breathe a sigh of relief when you hear it. At least for me. So
yeah.
that's. I mean, I put thought to why this stuff happens to me, but
No, it's
go ahead, CJ.
it's true. Like, no, it's true. Like, one of my songs, when I get like really, what do I want to say? Like, when I get really angry, when I get to that razor's edge of whatever, song by a band called The Haunted, called All Against All, is one of those songs. Or Pantera's Fucking Hostile is another one that it just kind of allows me to, I can hear it, and you just sort of, you just put your energy into hearing the song, and that sort of dissipates that anger a little bit. So you kind of focus that negativity through the music, through the heaviness of the music.
Exactly. I mean, hell, you know this only because I brought it on a couple weeks ago, but Lord of the Lost Reset the Preset basically does the same thing for me now. Anytime I'm getting really like frustrated at work, I put that video on YouTube real fast, and like just the fact that it's all common, like poppy in parts, and then he starts screaming in the middle of it, like it brings me it basically resets my preset, which song, a perfect name for that song. It really is. Like I can't get over how good Chris is as an artist, but he'll be coming on.
Sometimes I want to hear, sometimes I want to hear Air Supply. Sometimes I want to hear Savage Garden or Bob Marley. So
I'll listen to Savage Garden any day of the freaking week. Come on now. To the moon and back. To the moon and back. Oof, come on now. I brought that album on. That was one of the first episodes, actually. But well, CJ, what did you think of War Kings? What did you think of this album? Have you heard of War Kings? Because we never talked about them before either.
I'd heard the name. I'd never actually heard them. One thing I will say, I don't like bands with gimmicks. Gimmicks to me are the cheesiest, dumbest thing in music. So bands like Ghost, Guar, War Kings, blah blah blah, Sleep Token, over my head. I immediately turn my brain off for them, because it's just dumb to me. Like, as a band, if you can't make a dent in music just being who you are, if you got to resort to a gimmick to get people to pay attention to you, then you're not good. But there are exceptions to the rule.
Ozzy
never had a gimmick, though. Ozzy was just Ozzy.
The Prince of Darkness. Come on. That's a freaking gimmick.
Dude. That's just something that was tossed at him. Ozzy was just insane. It wasn't a gimmick so much as it was a mental illness that never got diagnosed, and he sort of leaned into it and made it, sort of a running stick. Alice Cooper with the snakes and that kind of stuff. So this record, immediately when it started, it took about 3 seconds of hearing him sing, and I was like, that's the singer of Serenity.
Yep.
I love Serenity. Serenity is one of my favorite Christian metal bands. I immediately knew George's voice was like, there's no mistaking George's voice. Even in a power metal genre where a lot of singers sound alike, George stands just head and shoulders above 99% of them. So I knew immediately that was George singing. So that immediately kind of was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this with an open mind, even with the stupid gimmick, because I like George. That being said, I kind of think he was kind of wasted on these songs. I really don't like Morgana's voice at all.
Oh my god, I love her voice. I actually looked up. She had a band before this too. The hell is it called?
Good for her. Anywho, I did listen to a few other songs. I noticed they did some songs with Melissa Bonney.
Mm-hmm.
Those were great songs. As you know, I love Melissa. So I did end up with 5 songs, but overall, I'd listen to them again. Wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't turn it off per se. You know what I'm saying? So, if someone else was playing it, or if it was in a game or a movie or something, yeah, cool. But probably not something I'm going to just choose to listen to. As opposed to
they did a Powerwolf song. I forget which one, but they did a Powerwolf song, and that's what made me like.
I don't need to know because I can't.
I know your gimmick thing. I don't get it. Gimmicks.
I don't like Powerwolf as a band. It has nothing to do with the gimmick. I just musically I don't like them.
And you kill me because I keep telling myself I can't bring him on the show when with you as a host or a co-host. So I'm like I'm not gonna put him through that.
You can bring him on. You can bring him on. Just be prepared for what I'm going to say.
I heard what Chancey had to say. It couldn't be much worse. But
there you go. I am the new Chancey. So
basically. But I mean, I don't know. I like gimmicks. I mean, Chancey did too to some degree. But I mean, he brought me a band of people that dress like dirty squirrels. But Angry Circus of Squirrels.
Oh, you're talking about
Circus of Squirrels.
Yeah, those now see, they're hilarious actually. That one I could get behind.
Trust me, as someone who has to watch Sesame Street on a daily basis because they have a 7-month-old, Elmo's Last Laugh is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. But
Green Jelly is another one that I can get behind because I do like Green Jelly.
Seen them live; they're freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But
amazing person. So
yeah, he does an amazing show until he strips into his boxers at the end of the last song. But whatever, he does him. But yeah, I mean, War Kings to me was just. I fell in love with them as I started hearing them because I am a huge lover of mythology, and they hit. What you tell me his first band was a Christian band, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't know that part. I'm like, how does he go from doing a Christian band to a band about mythologies that Christianity tried to squash in the early days?
So he has a PhD in world history.
Oh, that explains a lot.
All of his music is based on like this Richard the Lionheart, Judas Iscariot, all of their songs, all of the bands he's in, his music is like
okay. You just sold me that I'm gonna love Serenity before I even heard them. Yeah. But
Serenity's amazing, bro.
They're on my list. They're on. Trust me, they're on my list. As soon as you said you knew his voice, I'm like, wait a minute, he's in other bands. And I went and I looked it up. I was like, oh, and that's where I found out that Morgana used to be in a band called Witch Hunt too, which I'm dying to hear their album they put out because I love her voice. I think she's amazing. She's no Melissa Bonnie. Come on now, but her voice is her voice is pretty damn good. Um,
She's no
so
Adriana Cowan.
oh no, I feel like he did a song with Adrienne on one of his albums too. Actually, I feel like he did.
He might have.
Unless I'm getting confused with
They
Advantageous
might
right
have.
now.
They might have. But anywho,
But for this album, I only had two honorable mentions. I tried to keep it small, but "Troops of Immortality" is my first honorable mention. It's a fun song, but it's not nowhere near one of the best songs in the album. And "Here Comes the Rain," because this was a first for this band in 5 albums. This was like their first attempt at doing like a ballad almost, or doing like a softer song. And "Here Comes the Rain," like, and I know this music put you on edge, Samantha, but I feel like "Here Comes the Rain" would be the song that you would freaking love, and I have a feeling it's gonna be on top of your list. But we'll see in a few minutes. But my number 5 was Genghis Khan. That was the last single to drop for this album before they released it, and it's such a good song. Like, I love the history behind it. I love the history of Genghis Khan is so fascinating. Like, I love when people do songs about him, and they did a really good job at it. My number 4 is Varangoy because that's Norse mythology. I love Norse mythology. So, and say what you will about their gimmicks, dude, but they all wear different like ancient armor. It's freaking awesome to me. It's like watching Assassin's Creed characters in a band. But my number 3 was Circle of Witches, which that was never released until the album came out, and I'm pissed about that because that song is so phenomenal. And I'll even include the intro before it, Morgana's Incantation. Like, you put those two together and it makes such a good song. Like, it's just breathtaking. My number 2 is Kings of Ragnarok because that whole Norse mythology thing again, and I mean, it's Ragnarok. Anything to do with Ragnarok, I will listen to, play, or read because Ragnarok is one of the most interesting things in mythology because
it's
heavily
actually
experienced.
pronounced Ragnarok.
Listen, motherfucker. But my number 1, and this was a song that wasn't released either beforehand, was Hangman's Night. Because as soon as I heard what it was about, I recognized the lyrics. I heard the lyrics. I'm like, wait a minute, what's this song about? And I went and Googled it really fast. I'm like, it is about that. And it literally is about the day that they killed most of the Templars because the King of England changed. And he no longer liked the Templars. So it's literally about the night that all the Templars died.
Yeah. It was literally called Night of the Hangman. So
Yeah. It's, which is a very, for anybody who's into medieval history, it's a very infamous night of that time period. So I I love the way they did it, and the band they did it with. I want to say they're called Dominion or Dominum. I have to listen to everything they've done now too because they're amazing from what I heard on the song.
Or the minimum, I think is
Dominum, so. Yeah. But they sound amazing on this song, and I can't wait to hear everything else they've done because their picture on Spotify got me intrigued too. I'm like, oh, this looks like my kind of band. I will have to check these out. But so yeah, that's my top 5. I mean, the whole album to me is basically a 5 out of 5. There's only 1 or 2 songs I really could skip every time, but the rest of them are all just phenomenal. I freaking love his voice. I love their instruments. Like the guitar and drums on every track are freaking so good. And just watching the drummer in the videos, as a previous drummer, I really respect what he does. But what were your top 5 if you have 5, even Samantha, for Workings?
I did have 5 for specific reasons. So in Kingdom Come, I am a sucker for key changes in songs, and I like that key change. And then to Lindisfarne, I think is how you say it. The instrumental part at the beginning, I really like that. And then the melody in Armageddon and Nightfall, the harmony. Oh my gosh, I love harmonies so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when they sing "We're United," the harmony on that was awesome. And then "Here Comes the Rain," just the instrument and melody at the beginning of that song too. I really liked it. So.
Actually, I knew you would like that song because it's a softer song they did, but
Yeah.
And it's that's a first for them. They never did that in any other album. So I was kind of impressed by the fact they actually could do that and do it well. I was blown away. When I heard the tempo in the beginning be all slow, I was like, oh God, no, they're gonna ruin themselves with this shit. But then I heard the whole song. I heard the whole song, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's a ballad. That's a good ballad.
Yeah.
Let's rock it out, boys. Rock it out. And girl, I guess Morgana, but she's new. This is only the second album she's been on. So, uh, but I will say she is a beautiful woman from what I've seen. So, in videos, more power to them. But DJ, I'm done to hear your top 5 and your reasonings.
All right. So this is a band that, in all honesty, they need to lose the gimmick. They are great musicians. The songs are very well put together. I realize they're in other bands. I realize yada yada. For whatever reason, these 5 guys could just be who they are, perform this music, and stand above, again, the majority of other bands performing this kind of music. That being said, number 5, Nightfall. Nightfall is almost makes me think it's a song that maybe George wrote for Serenity. I mean, it's so much like what he does in Serenity. Also, my number 1 song. Number 4 is Hangman's Night. Number 3 is King of Ragnarok. Number 2, Here Comes the Rain. And number 1, which is another song that is just 1,000% Serenity, Kingdom Come. The big soaring vocals that are layered. It's what Serenity does, and that's why I knew immediately upon hearing his voice. I like, okay, that's George. There's no mistaking the way George sings. His harmonics in his voice are just so recognizable. And like I said, if you listen to Serenity, you'll realize what I'm saying. Like, he's just so much better than 99.9% of the other singers in this genre. And I'm not saying metal in general, but the power metal ish genre. George is just, and he's super smart. Like I said, he has a PhD in world history, so he's,
Which that's why he wanted to do the gimmicks, because he's a world history nerd. He wanted to do the gimmicks.
So Serenity has this and they did this video for it. George has this thing. They did a video for their song about Richard the Lionheart. And being PhD in history, George is 1,000% about everything has to be authentic to the detail for these videos. So they spend a great deal of time and money to make the Templar uniforms, the gloves, the swords, everything about these videos. George is sort of like this expert on this, and they go to great lengths to make sure that there's no, glitches anywhere, of anyone could come along and say, well, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. So he really is a brilliant dude. He's also a professor at the University of The Hague. He teaches world history. So, I mean, he's not just a singer. He's sort of he's sort of like the Indiana Jones of metal.
That's freaking awesome. That's so awesome. I
mean,
that just makes you love him more. I would love to freaking take one of his classes. That's oof.
Oh, I bet his classes are.
See, the only problem I have
his classes would be fun as hell, but I bet you his classes would be brutal hard.
Oh yeah.
Like, he is not a guy who's going to skim over something. Like, he's going to make you write like 50-page reports on everything, man. Like, so
100%. I can see that. But see, my only problem with Nightfall was I kept wanting it to be Blind Guardian's Nightfall. So I don't know. I had that stuck in my head and I couldn't get over it. I still can't get over it, but it is what it is. But well, folks, we brought you your albums thrice for the night, and 3 good albums. So there you go. We brought you 6 good albums this week, for God's sake. So you're welcome. What's coming next week? Lord only knows. Be sure to tune in Saturday for the Led Zeppelin Part 6 to 7 bracket. Oh, it's almost over. It's almost over. I've been so Zeppelined out for weeks, but you can only hear so many versions of Moby Dick and Black Dog before you start losing your mind a little bit. But Samantha, we do want to thank you for coming on. It's been fun having you. You brought us some insight into a career that you may scare some people. You may scare some people away from it too, but that's okay. If they weren't ready for that, then they don't need to go do it anyway because they're not going to take it seriously. So I'm happy we could do that. And of course, your website will fully be up when this releases the podcast. I'll put your website right in the description so everybody can go to it if they want to check out more of what you do and or if they need help with their child or loved one. That'd be great if they could have resources. So always a good thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to tell people, if you want to tell people for those that are watching live where they can find you, if they want to find you, please feel free.
Yeah, you can go to BoiseMusicTherapyCompany.com, and I have a podcast too called Every Brain is Different. You can find it on there if you're interested in learning more about like neurodivergent stuff. We mainly talk about parenting neurodivergent kids. So yeah, just BoiseMusicTherapyCompany.com.
I am fighting that battle as we speak.
Yeah,
my 13-year-old hasn't been diagnosed yet, but we're working on getting him to the right people, and I have a feeling that he is very neurodivergent because there are times when you can be speaking to him and he's just like listening, and then the second you stop, he's like, so anyways, the new Pokemon just came out, blah, 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 blah. And he hasn't heard a word.
Yeah.
Hyper focused on one thing. And, I love him. He's the kindest, most gentle kid ever. But it could be super frustrating. It's like, dude, did you hear anything I said?
Yeah.
And he'll just look at you like, for a second. And then he'll be like, in this new Pokemon game. And it's like, like a Pokemon. So I get it.
Yeah. We still question whether or not we're dealing with that or not. We thought for sure one of my kids was at one point, but now we think it's just we're leaning more towards the adult. They all just have ADHD, but it seems more likely. But I don't know. It's trying to get in to see a specialist to get your kids diagnosed for that is a freaking ridiculous process. We applied to so many places, and 3 years later, we still haven't heard a word back from any of them. So it's
the waiting list terrible.
The amount of paperwork you have to fill out too is freaking oh my god. But my hand was freaking hurting for days after filling out those packets. But it is what it is. But CJ, where can they find you, buddy?
MusicGodCJPlain.rocks, ROCKS, is the website. I'm working on updating it, getting everything pointed in one direction. Look on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all that. You can find my loud list podcasts. That's audio only. That's where we make top 10 rocks of anything your brain can imagine. Or if you go on YouTube, just look up what you see on the screen, Music God CJ Plain. You'll find the Noise Report there where I interview people about really random stuff. Or you can watch me do music reactions to all kinds of cool people like Jimmy Barnes and Dimash and Diana Arden Kanuva and John Farnham and punk bands and Youngblood and Freddie Mercury and stuff like that. So, you get to hear me geek out about music. So,
and folks, you can find both your musers as Squatchy Larch put on Facebook. He likes to share out our materials. You can find us on X and the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard. And you can find us on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings, the only place to see everything that's been done since 2022. So go check it out. A lot of good material there to check out. We need the views, so come on, folks, go check out the old stuff. But once again, before we head out for the night, I will thank Samantha for coming on because it's been a good time. And we will see you folks next week. No idea what albums will be on yet, but we'll see. Have a good week, everybody.